Housing San Diego veterans continues to be a top priority to many here in San Diego, including congressional candidate for the 49th District, Kate Monroe, who joins us now to talk all about it. And Kate, you haven't announced that yet here on KUSI, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
A lot of different political figures and a lot of issues that I know that you hope to tackle. So talk a little bit about your campaign and why you decided to run.
Well, a lot of things brought me to run. I've been on here a lot talking about Veterans Affairs, border the other day, homeless, lawlessness, drugs. And I think when you actually go out and interact in your community and you see these giant problems and you're a solution provider, you can't just watch the train wreck. You got to get people off the tracks. And as a Marine Corps veteran, I think it was my time to step up and go serve, my country again, serve my area. That's one thing. The other thing is I've written congressional legislation. I crafted the framework of the Veteran Entrepreneur Act, and that took a lot of, bipartisan, bicameral support. So I know how to build those coalitions. I've already done some congressional work, which most other candidates have never done before. And I have a 6-year-old. And the state of our nation, I grew up in the Reagan era, and that country does not exist for my child. And I think a lot of parents are ready for someone to stand up for their kids. My little son came home at the end of last year and said, I could marry a little boy if I want. I could be a girl. But he was only 5. Yeah. That's just too early for us to be talking to our kids about that. And I also say we got to demand better. And I looked in the mirror and said, it's me. I have to demand better of myself so I can demand better of our nation. So I think those are the big reasons that I decided to run.
Well, I think that we need more people in office that are just like you, that go and see the issues firsthand and see it with their very own eyes. Yes. You mentioned the border, and here in San Diego, we've had over 10,000 migrants dropped off on our streets at transit centers or the airport. And that just goes, or they're still here roaming our streets right now. And our homeless population is just continuing to get worse here in San Diego as well. And you really try to house our veterans, and that's difficult as it is. Correct. So what are you seeing, and what needs to be done?
Well, I think a couple things. I went out and did a visit. I was trying to seek out where are these migrants, how are they getting here? And so I have a couple of feelings. One, what I found out from MTS was they're getting bused here 3 buses at a time every 3 hours, most days of the week. The second they arrive, though, someone materializes out of nowhere, gives them their plane tickets, their translator phones, feeds them, and takes them directly to the airport. And you wonder why, cities like New York are falling, because they're directly flying from wherever, from Saudi Arabia, from Africa to Mexico, coming straight across and going right over to New York and New Jersey. The ones that stay here in San Diego, they're flooding our shelters, they're flooding our emergency rooms. It's hard enough. We do a poor job managing our own homeless crisis. And then if you throw on top of it, we still have veterans on the streets, but we're placing migrants ahead of our veterans is... Right. It's just disgusting. So I think this base camp idea I've mentioned in the past, we have to start corralling all of these people, get them in the same spot so we can circle them with services and get them the help they need.
Why are the migrants a top priority instead of Americans and our veterans?
Well, if you look at what goes on, when migrants come in, a lot of them can get licenses, which means they can vote. So you have to look at, if we could close the border, and the solution there is very simple, and we don't do it, that means we're doing it on purpose. We're bringing them here on purpose. There's power at stake. There's profit at stake. None of these things are on accident. This is not people being stupid leaving the border open. They're doing it on purpose. And that's one of the other reasons that I want to run. Somebody has to stand up and say, all of this is by design. And if you don't like this, we need to, as a group, go and change this for ourselves.
How many homeless veterans do we have here in San Diego that are living on our streets?
At any given time, there's a known quantity of 700 to 1,000, but I think that that's very low by half, because when I go talk to veterans, it takes me almost 10 minutes for them to even tell me they are a veteran, and I'm a veteran, and they know that I help veterans. So they're very proud. So all these people that go out and survey, most of these veterans will not tell them that they were in the military because they're too proud to tell them and ask for that help. So I think we have closer to 2,000 veterans, in my opinion.
What needs to be done?
I think what needs to be done is, 1, we have to shut our border. 2, we have to actually start prosecuting crime. no more of this lawlessness. And my base camp idea, I really feel like if we build infrastructured sanctioned camping where we can rehab people, get them on their mental health track, get all the newly homeless people, get their jobs back, get their IDs back, get them back on the road to success, I think that's what needs to be done. Harsh, hard love, or killing people with compassion, no more of that.
We'll talk more about the reason that you are running for the 49th congressional seat and why you're a better fit. Who are you running against?
I'm running against, the incumbent, Mike Levin, which I think inevitably it's going to be he and I next November. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, so I have big plans to take out Mike Levin out of that 49th seat. But Margarita Wilkinson is running, Cheryl Adams, and Matt Gunderson. I will say this, my fellow Republican candidates are all very nice people. They're nice. I've met all of them. They all have good intentions, but I think the ship has sailed on nice and diplomacy. People are looking for someone like me that will stand up and say enough is enough. Somebody who will demand better, someone who's suited for that seat. I talked to Daryl Issa recently. In his opinion, it's a veteran that should sit in that seat, and I'm the only veteran running. So I just think if you stack me up against all of my competition, it will be me that prevails in the end.
Where can people go to learn more about you?
If they go to kate4congress.com, they can see ways to donate, ways to volunteer if they want, and just more about my campaign.
Well, Kate, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.